Hello, Grace.
Hi, Karen.
It is Tuesday.
And it's time for Rain Circle and Conversations.
Okay, so part of our goal behind Rain Circle is to help women and others create a legacy. Like the question I ask is, why are we doing this?
Yeah, why are we doing this, Karen?
Well, when we were talking about our topics recently, it reminded me of a parable. And I'm gonna have to look at my notes because I wanna read it. It's so fascinating, but can you give me just a minute? And you're gonna know. It's called The Mexican Fisherman.
I love this parable. I really do.
Okay. And I think it's so fitting because why are we doing this hustle? What are we doing it for? What does that look like? Like what's the whole thing? So if you don't know the parable, let me read it to you quickly, okay? A wealthy businessman is on vacation in a Mexican village and he sees a poor fisherman who just catches a few fish each day. The businessman asks why he doesn't fish longer to catch more fish. And the fisherman says he catches enough to feed his family and enjoy his life. He naps, he spends time with his children, and he listens to music and he socializes with friends. But the businessmen, some of it might be like us, would be like, but why? Just fish longer. Buy a bigger boat, like hire workers. Like you can scale, build a company, sell it one day, and then you're going to retire rich. And you can move to a small village and enjoy your family and enjoy your life. And the fisherman looked at him and said, but that's what I'm already doing.
So I think this is not an anti-success story, and it's not an anti why do we need more story. It's really a realization of where we are going to end up, why we're doing it, and all the hours that we put in, right? Sometimes success just to sell another house, just to get numbers up, just to have a higher whatever it is that we think is important is really not, because along with that story, Karen, one of the things that I've always thought about is when we pass away, which all of us are going to, right? What do we want people to remember us by? Not by the amount of houses that we sold, not by anything like that, but how we've made, number one, our family feel, what we left for our families or our loved ones, and how we've made each other feel, right? That's the important thing in life, not another house. But like I said, this is not anti success. We just want to do things a little bit smarter instead of harder and have those hours back to us to do what we want to do, to be like that Mexican fisherman who said, hey, why would I, work 12 hours a day, get a bigger boat, get employees, when the businessman, when he did all that and then he ended up wanting to retire and just have the life that that little old fisherman had, right? We don't want to work all our lives and hustle 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 to get back to missing so many things of our life.
It makes me emotional, Grace, because this was my mom. And my mom worked as a realtor for 43 years and didn't get to enjoy everything she had achieved because she got dementia. And that is my why, is to shorten the lessons and shorten the pain of not being able to do that, because she looked at me in a somewhat lucid moment one day in the car. I remember where we were sitting, I remember what we were wearing, and she looked at me in the passenger seat and I was in the driver's seat, of course, and she said, do you know one thing I wish for? I wish I knew my grandchildren more. And so that time we never get back. And I'm realizing too, when I'm reflecting on my life, that I don't want to be the grandma or grandma that just buys things. Is It's about time spending. You're in Hawaii with your grandchildren right now for weeks at a time, and boy do they know their Gigi. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to make us old, but we can still start a business and we can still run a business and we can still do that and have this. And so there's something in the middle. And I think the women that we're talking to is women like us, right?
Correct.
And so, how do we work smarter? How do we make additional income? How do we look at what we're doing, whether it's selling real estate or doing mortgages or insurance, and capitalize on that? Because I see every opportunity as like a 5-time potential opportunity. How else can I leverage this? How else what else could I do with this? And just like social media, like you post on multiple platforms, like the same thing is I'm taking the same experience, whether it's a transaction or a relationship, and figuring out how can this multiply this, but not take more time.
And that's true. And I think that one of the things that we forget as real estate agents is that we have a huge wealth of knowledge, right? That we don't apply necessarily to other things. We just hustle to sell a house or to, to stay in our lane, which we shouldn't. I mean, there's so many opportunities that we can use to our advantage, right? We can invest in and passively. We don't need to be the ones that are always hustling right there, doing this or doing that. I mean, we can invest really smart in companies that support us, like maybe a staging company, maybe a handyman company, a transaction coordination company. All of the things that we use that we have knowledge of doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be the ones, you know, going to someone's house and doing the plumbing or doing the electrical or whatever, but we have enough knowledge to be able to hire someone to help us run a company like that, right? There's so many things that we can do, Caryn, that are passive, that are not necessarily.
You named it. You named it. And if I had my iPad handy, but I could draw it out easily, is like if we look at I was looking for a marker, but if we look at all the industries that are affected by a realtor or like a, helping someone buy or sell a home in a community, and the economic impact. Now, I'm no Taylor Swift, like I'm not bringing $5 billion for a weekend concert, but I do know my mother always taught me, and my grandmother, like a realtor is the economic center, because there are 40 to 60 industries that benefit when we help someone buy or move us, buy or sell a home. It's just not just childcare or vet services or lawn care, but it's local stores, right? It's civic, it's taxes, it's school systems. And there are so many ways that we can help, and so many people that benefit from us. So, like, having an estate sale company or a sign install company or a transaction management company, like, why not you?
Correct. Why not us? I mean, like I said, sometimes we just need to look at exactly what you said. Maybe we need to do a flow chart in our next big conversation about this. What other things can we do to help us, right? There's probably tons of industries that I've never even thought about. Like you're right, a sign installation company. I, little things that we can do to help us in our next phase, where we're not out at 8 p.m. selling another house, where I'm at 8 p.m. calling my grandson saying good night, guys, right here, good night, Wolfie. Things like that, that as we grow older we realize exactly how important it is. We don't want to be that businessman fisherman who works 12, 14 hours a day to end up with the life that he saw that other fishermen have, that was easy and enjoying life. I want to be the one enjoying life.
Well, that's it. Is this is the only time I haven't wanted to be like my mother,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
right?
you know what? You learn something really important that we're teaching people now, right? That you can't hustle for 43 years. You just shouldn't do that. I mean, and I think a lot of times we're so in that mode of more, 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 that we forget to look at, okay, I have enough. Now what do I do with it?
Mm-hmm. And how do I make it last? So really our focus in our next series, Grace, is going to be residual income, royalty income, override income, and we can bring in some experts too that are slaying it in that sense, starting a coaching company, starting a training company. If you've created something amazing, let's say it's a listing and buyer presentation, that is a sellable asset. Like, we've talked so much about intellectual property, we've talked about how to open an LLC, the tax benefits of it. We've talked about a lot of the stuff in the prior series, but also, like, there's so much more to go.
There is. And, I think this group is made up of an incredible amount of knowledge that we just all need to kind of like figure it out together and share. But I think that the knowledge base that we have as women who have, like, worked this industry for many, many years, I think that what we're able to do together is going to be amazing. And you're right, whether it's coaching, whether it's you've done an amazing listing presentation, any of these things that, we talked about the another person last week also who has taken ideas like this, Lori Ballin, and has just created different industries. I mean, it's amazing what we can do.
Mhm. Yeah, keeping our eyes up, like, I always think eyes up and, like, ears open because you just never know, and if it's a passion and it's sick, it's like getting a tattoo, like, I believe you have to love it for a year before you can get it, is a business. If and it's sticking with you over and over again, like Grace, like, the Rain Circle has been sticking with us for 3 years. So we had to take action, and I don't recommend waiting that long because 'cause we're 3 years older, but if it sticks with you for a year, there's something to it, and that there is about understanding your value and that it is worth something.
And see, here's what we're going to do. We took 3 years, right? What we want to do is make sure that we support our people, our women, everybody in the rain circle, so it doesn't take you 3 years. So if you need someone to say, let's do this, here's how we can help. This is how we do it. We've done it. Here you go. That's going to be us, Caryn, because we don't want another, two or three women or a single person to wait 3 years to do something that they've had in their heart. We want to make sure that everybody gets that leg up and that push, or just the inspiration to say, yes, you can. Here we are. We'll help you.
You know what I would like to ask our audience? I'd like to ask our audience to message us, DM us your idea of a sellable asset or something you have thought of that is just stuck in your gut for over a year that you really feel it's something. Just message us privately. I would love to work through it with you and give you my gut feeling because that's how these ideas get going and that's how you and I got here today.
Yes, it's very, very true. It's very true. Well, I'm getting so excited for our next conversation, Caryn.
Oh, it's a good one too.
I know, I
Our
know.
our next conversation hopefully will help you have better discernment in relationships and also cause you to be a little bit better. But it's a great lesson for your leadership teams, for your families, for your friends. This next conversation it's big. It's big.
It is. It is. I can't wait. Now, I know that, we appreciate everybody taking the time to come on with us today, just because we did have to change the time a little bit. But I think this time works really good, Caryn. I like it. So, and here is, thank you so much. We need you to join our newsletter. I always forget that part. That's my prompt and I forget it. So we can't wait for you to join our newsletter. And we're going to be here again next Tuesday with another really, really important topic that I think that you guys are going to get a lot of value from.
It's going to be an amazing conversation to enter into 2026. So I can't wait.
Me either. Thank you so much again, everybody. And I can't wait to talk to you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Mm.